Did you write for the school paper or anything, or what were you mainly doing in high school?
It was working after school.
Yeah.
You got a job really early, huh? Yeah.
It was during the war, you know,
Yeah.
and when I turned 16, I learned about a job opportunity of working just on the weekend while I was in school.
Yeah.
And I was happy for it because they were paying pretty good wages, you know. It was an hourly job, and I could work on the weekends and not. And in those days, the markets were all closed on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet they were when you think about it. Yeah.
And so it meant really that basically it was Friday night and Saturday that I worked. I think that was the same thing with you with Slop and Slave, wasn't
That's true.
They were closed on Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't work on Sunday. It was Shop and Save, but we called it Slop and Slave.
The Slop and Slave. That's good.
Yeah. But anyway, I kind of got started, and they needed help in the produce department. And of course, you know, I was young and eager and not intimidated by helping unload the truck, you know, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Instead of having a forklift for everything, why a lot of times you'd have to unload sacks of potatoes, 100 pounds.
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Boy.
and pack them around. And so anyway, I worked with this older gentleman who was beyond age for military service and was up in years. You know, I talk about him being, I thought he was an old man at the time.
Yeah, I know. Think about it.
My ideas about an older man have changed completely because when I start talking about old people, I realize I'm one.
We all are.
I are one. But anyway, his name was Harry. He was kind of a crusty old guy, you know. So in a way, it was kind of entertaining to be around him, and some of his stories when we were preparing the iceberg lettuce for display, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a time also when many produce markets were going to self-service as well. The Slop and Slave never did. You know, it was they still had an employee that would, a salesperson that would go with you and pick out stuff and put it in the container and take the money and hand it to her, and she'd make change.
Slap it on the ledge of the cash register, and then they would just leave, and then the next guy would do the same thing. And so it really required concentration to figure out which ones I needed to make change for.
Oh, yeah. Boy.
Yeah, she had a special spot by the cash register, and we were seeing one another. We were dating a little bit, and every time I had a chance and I had the access to the family car, well, I'd arrange to pick her up and take her home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, working for the Market Basket, I soon found out that they also needed somebody after school. And so I was putting in lots of hours after school and on Saturday, so that I was required, of course, to apply for union membership. You know, I was really unhappy with that. You know, my first paycheck, you know, was
the dues and all
very
that.
minimal, you know, because the first withdrawal from my pay Jack, was the union employee.
Yes.
The membership fee, which at the time just seemed to me to be, what?
Yeah.
How much was that? I think at the time it was $35.
That's a lot.
So here I thought I had a check of maybe $50 or $60 coming, And
That's a
here's
lot.
my
That seems like a
paycheck,
lot back then. $35.
Yeah.
and it was all accounted
Yes,
for,
for the
that-
membership.
Yeah, but that seems like a lot, you
Yeah,
know.
it
When you think
was,
about it.
uh-huh.
Oh,
But they were a very strong union in Southern California, retail clerks,
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that that wasn't all bad because they were doing a lot of good negotiating for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
by the time I earned my journeyman status as retail clerk, the pay scale had jumped quite a bit. $1.81 an hour. I thought, $1.80
That's
an
good though.
hour. It's just
I was
amazing.
making 45 cents an hour. No union.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
My dad was very curious about that, and he said, "How much are they paying you?" And I told him, and he kind of grimaced because he was on he was a direct support missionary, basically, and
With his hospital work.
Yeah.
hospital ministry, chaplaincy, and he was trying to get it established, and it made a lot of sense there at the Los Angeles County General Hospital because you've seen pictures of that huge
Well,
hospital, of
she's
course.
seen the hospital, I imagine.
It always used to be the
What was the name of the hospital again?
The general
Los Angeles County
hospital.
General
Okay.
Hospital.
Okay.
down-
It's a big
yeah.
one. Kind of in the style of the 40s. No, that's when he was starting it. So it must have been built in the 30s.
I think so, yeah. Probably 38, 39 maybe. But it was huge. It was a huge hospital.
And it's still there, I think.
Potential for, I think, 3,000 patients at a time.
That's a lot of patients.
And 12 stories high. And at that time, that was a big, what's that big building over there across the Los Angeles River?
Yeah, so he would go and just do a prayer with someone, or just counsel them, or just help
Yeah.
them, whatever they needed. Yeah.
And in those days, when the patients were admitted, they, in addition to all the other Social Security, Medicare information, that one of the questions was, what is your religious profile?
Right. That's right.
They don't do that now.
I don't think they
It's against
do.
the law for them
Yeah.
to discriminate. Anyway, and so if they have that kind of a question, why they're apt to get a patient that is very adamant about providing that kind of information.
Mhm.
Sorry.
But at that time, it was required. So anytime they registered Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, or Church of Christ, why he would get then a little
Like an email, like
slip.
previous thing. Yeah.
which showed that on the admittance.
Mhm.
He'd get that every morning. He'd get a list of people, and he always made the initial call, even though he knew that the Church of Christ has basically two entities, you might say,
Mhm.
denominational-wise. There are the a cappella singers, Church of Christ, a lot of those in the South. I'm sure Eileen could tell you stories about, the Church of Christ in Texas.
Yeah, that's right.
They're most of the ones there. The Christian church people have discovered that, if they name the Church of Christ, they're apt to get someone come and say, "Well, you're not the Church of Christ,"
Mhm.
visiting, because you got an organ up there and a piano. And anyway, get back to the talk about him. He came to me after he found out how much I was making. He said, "Tell me again what your pay is." He says, "That's more than I make." And I was part-time, you know.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So all those years, his mantra was, "The Lord will provide." And
It did.
he did, except there were things that we went without, you know. And,
You helped him though, didn't you? Give him some of your money? Yeah.
And not just money wise, but it was during the war, and he could bring home produce